All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Peter. Great to have
Hey,
you here.
how you doing?
Yeah. For all of us members who are watching, I'm here today with Peter Janis, the founder and CEO of Prime Acoustic. And is that correct?
Well, not only Prime Acoustic, but Radial. Prime Acoustic is part of Radial Engineering, so it's one of our divisions.
Fantastic.
Hmm.
And why I'd approached you is I'd had a lot of people that were on my YouTube channel and my website that were asking about how to treat their home-based studios, how to do some type of acoustic treatment. They knew that that was one of the phases of having a professionally engineered sound. And so I started doing a bit of research, and I live in Vancouver, BC, and you guys operate very close by in Port Coquitlam, and happened to find you guys. And at the same time, I also was really attracted to you guys as a brand because I saw that you were doing something different. You know, I've seen a lot of different things made of foam, stuff like that, but you guys actually, when I started to do a little research into you, looked like you were doing something that was really unique and innovative and was on the cutting edge, which is where I like to hang out.
Well, I think, acoustic's been around a long, long time. What people don't realize is that it has been central to broadcast. It's been central to the world of transmitting audio forever. And with the internet, um, we've come to the realization that more and more people are actually going to be starting to broadcast themselves out to the world. It's not just record, but you're actually sending that stuff out over a media. And when you use a microphone, whether it's a simple voice or whether it's a full recording, you actually flatten out the sound. And this is some of the interesting stuff that you start to get into this. You start to find out that it really starts with that simple microphone. Once it's flattened out, you lose all perspective. Your ears no longer work the same way as if we're in the same room talking together like this. So everything changes. And the way around that is to fix the acoustics. And this is something that has become prevalent out there. And we are, of course, very actively getting involved with all that side of the world. So it's really interesting.
Perfect. Well, just to give everybody a bit of a background and foundation as to you guys and who you are and how you got into the industry, I'd love to hear just a little bit about why you started Prime Acoustic and how you got into doing what you do.
Well, we started, acoustics. I started looking into acoustics in the 1980s. It was actually around 1986. I was looking at the world. I was looking at computers. I was looking at trying to figure out how um, the world would change. I mean, my job is the long-term vision. Where are we going to go with this thing? So back in the 80s, I was working for a company that is a shareholder of Fender Corporation. So I was with the Fender guitar people. And we were looking at computers. We were looking at how that was all going to change. Digi-design hit the marketplace, and all of a sudden now the world started to evolve. And we could see that unless people started to treat their rooms, they would have problems. So we actually started our first acoustical products in 1991, 92, so almost 20 years ago.
Okay.
And started with foam product. And then over the years, we evolved into a higher quality product. That's really what we've done. If you measure how these things work, you'll find that kind of like a microphone, you can look at the frequency response of a microphone. If it's flat, that means you're picking up everything. If it's kind of looks like a CB radio, well, it's not going to sound very good. Well, the same thing with acoustics. If you only treat part of the sound, you get problems. So as we've learned, we've evolved, and our product has evolved to start solving the problem. So that's kind of, the whole thing. So uh, we started with basic acoustic panels, basic foam product, and then moved away from that into glass wool, going from roughly half a pound density to 6 pounds density. So we've multiplied the density of the material, the absorptive material, to be able to handle bass. So,
Awesome. Well, that's definitely one thing I'd love to get into later on in our interview is
mhm,
what types of materials you guys are using and
mhm,
why.
mhm.
In particular, I know some people that have done some DIY stuff in their studios using blankets or whatever they can get their hands on, and I'm sure that there's a host of advantages to the materials you guys use, and I'd love to explore that a bit. But just before we do, your background specifically, obviously you've been in the music industry for a long time. Where did your personal interest come in for doing the acoustic stuff?
Well, I started tinkering with product development back in the 70s. I know you're thinking I'm a young guy. I've been doing this forever. I've been in
Yeah.
this industry for over 35 years. And what happens, I guess, early on, designing PA systems for arenas and clubs, recording studios, my own studio, other studios, trying to do that stuff, getting involved with product development. You become accustomed to all of this, and you start to take courses. I took courses on acoustics in the early 90s. It was just an evolution. You want to, if you're fascinated by stuff, if there's so much information out there, so much to learn. So, and today it's wonderful. You can get online and you can learn all kinds of stuff. So
Absolutely.
really, it comes down to education. I just had a passion for learning. I, I got up this morning and I'm developing a new product. I'm putting, stuff down on paper, and a lot of it comes down to discussions, just like you and I had before we started this interview. We were talking about filters.
Yeah.
Talk to people, get ideas, put ideas together, and come up with products. So the interest has been there for a long time, and being aware of the problem is the next thing, and then figure out a solution is part three. And that's what I do.